Hello and welcome to another PyConline AU News Desk discussion. So we'll start slowly to make sure that all of our viewers can come across from social onto the stream. But on today's conversation, I have Mr. Benno Rice joining me. Benno, thank you for joining us.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. And actually, it's really good to hear your voice in these distant work from home times. It's really good to catch up with the team.
Yes. No, it's one of the things I miss about the whole PyCon scene is just getting together with everybody. And so I'm really glad that we're actually being able to do something this year, even if it doesn't let us, hang around in hallways as much as we have done in the past.
Well, we'll do our best to make sure that there's a hallway track of sorts at the event in September.
Yep.
Now,
absolutely.
You and I and the team have been working furiously over the last few days to make sure that today we could announce our official call for proposals. And alongside that, we've announced the specialist tracks. So before we talk about the CFP, I want to just have a quick chat to you about the specialist tracks that we've announced and what people can come to expect from those tracks. Now, looking through some of the announcements that we had today, there's 5 specialist tracks, but in the past we've only had 4. What's new and different?
Well, I mean, so obviously due to the whole, pandemic thing getting in the way of having physical events, means that we haven't been able to have an event that's in, rooms with theatres and stages and all that kind of stuff. But that also means that we don't have to limit ourselves by the number of rooms that we have. And so we decided to expand the number of specialist tracks that we had this year, partially for that reason, and also just to make sure that we got a nice breadth of content coming into the process and into the conference itself.
Fantastic. And so what we're really saying is that it's not necessarily a new or different format, just that there's a different space and a different opportunity for people to share their exciting talks with us.
Yeah, I mean it's part of your whole when life gives you lemons kind of thing. We don't have the opportunity to use theatres this year, but that means we don't have to be limited by the number of them, and we can just have as many different things going on as we want.
Fantastic! It's a PyConline AU flavored lemonade.
Yay!
So that's really exciting for everyone watching that would like to get to know the specialist tracks a little bit better. They have been updated on the program page on the website, but as a sneak peek, we're also planning on doing some more of these news streams with the specialist track teams themselves. So you can get to know what their topic area is, what their special interest area is, and what they're really excited for at PyConline AU this year. And so we're not going to go into them in too much depth today. All the details are on the website, but look to the stream next week and the week after for those conversations. Now, I want to turn to our CFP. Now, a call for proposals is a massive part of a conference. So it's not going to be possible for us to go into all of the depth and detail right now. But a couple of things jumped out at me, such as the session types or the format. Now, historically, we've had normal and normal length and then deep dive talks. But I noticed that we've got some short talks up there as well. Talk to me about these 15-minute segments.
So historically, PyCon's used a sort of a 25-minute for 30-minute type slot. Some conferences have had longer slots, and there was a bit of request that we have longer slots. And so in the last couple of years, we've been running the deep dive sessions, which allow people to go a lot deeper into a subject, as the name suggests. What we thought we'd try this year as well is giving people who have a bit more focused presentation, sort of a shorter idea, a quick hit, if you like, a space to schedule that in there. So it's going to be a bit like the deep dive talks have been treated in the past, in that we'll assess how many of those we schedule and at what times based on how many of those proposals we get. But if you've got an idea that you think can be expressed in a shorter time frame and want to give that a go, then we've got a slot for you this year.
Right. So I think the important thing we want everyone to hear today is that when you're submitting to a certain type of session, like a short talk, you're not competing for a fixed quota of those that we've predetermined.
Correct.
We really want to make the schedule work for the submissions that get put in.
Yeah, and I think also with an online conference, I mean, in a traditional conference, you can get up and walk around, you can move around, you can see different things. In an online conference, you're going to be sitting in a chair a bit more, and so we want to have a bit more variety in the presentation. So having a couple of quick hits between some larger topics, I think it could be a lot of fun.
I love it. Now, deep dives are an opportunity to get really super technical and explore a topic in a lot of depth. And with that comes all sorts of opportunities to do things like workshops and hands-on labs, or does it?
Well, I mean, obviously, hands-on stuff this year is going to be a bit different. I mean, we are more than happy if someone wants to propose a workshop to try and make that happen, but we're going to have to work within the constraints of the medium that we have. You are going to be talking to people. You're not going to be able to walk around and help them necessarily. You might have to be a bit more active in chat. If someone wanted to propose a workshop session that happened entirely through the hallway track chat system, I'd be more than happy to help them workshop that idea. But a deep dive session is going to be a lot more about getting value for the time than it is about just, if you're worried that you've got a 25-minute talk that's going to run long, come and talk to us and we'll help you work out how to fit that in the 25 minutes as opposed to just spreading it out into a 55-minute slot. If you've got a dense block of ideas around a particular topic that you think is worth getting into in depth, then absolutely pitch that at a deep dive talk and we'll talk to you about it. If you're not sure what the best fit for it is, our email address is on the CFP site and along all of the communications that's out there. It's program@pycon.org.au. Reach out to us and we'll more than happily talk to you about, ask your questions and we will give you the answers as best we can.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think something also that I'd want to highlight there is that the deep dives are not an opportunity to run like a product demo, so to speak.
No.
We'd love to help people run workshops like that, but we've got some sponsorship packages that we'd love to hear from you about. And so
absolutely.
Let's find the right balance between really great, exciting technical deep dives and something that might be more brand aligned that we can help support and promote alongside the conference.
Yeah, if you want to do brand promotion, then you want to talk to the sponsorship folks. Historically, we've not been big on product pitch talks. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't talk about a product that you think is interesting, just that if you're selling a product, we're not going to be particularly interested in ads.
That's a really good point.
Unless you're buying sponsorships. Buy sponsorships. Sponsorships
Buy
are awesome.
sponsorships, everybody. That's what makes conferences like this happen so successfully.
Absolutely. If you want to, we promise you that the more sponsorship we get, the more fun you will have.
Excellent. Now, there's a really interesting conversation being had in the chat by the wonderful Glassant, and I would like to highlight that, yes, we have some mentors this year. Now, Glassant is not in our chat here, but we actually had this completely scripted right now, so thank you for the perfectly timed segue.
Yay!
So we've got some mentors for this year's conference. Talk to us a little bit about mainly the CFP process. So over the next 3 weeks, if I'm a first-time speaker or I'm not quite sure what I should be submitting, what do we have on offer from our mentorship program?
Basically, if you have questions about the process, if you have questions about your pitch, if you're worried about, if you want to have the best chance of it getting picked, then reach out to us. We can put you in touch with a mentor who will help you go through your idea, work out an abstract, help you work out your abstract, your description, all the things that you need in order to fill in the CFP, and help you make the best proposal that you can. We want to help you, especially if you've not done this before. If you're worried about, anything really. I mean, proposing to any conference can be stressful. I know I've done it lots of times, and I still get rejected. I still find it, I find myself second guessing. Am I writing this in a way that's actually going to make me want them to pick it? So absolutely, reach out to us. We will help you. We want you to have the best time that you can have.
I would completely agree with that. I have been one of those mentors in previous years, and I'd like to encourage everybody who is out there that thinks they have an interesting topic or something that they can share that would educate an audience to think about a talk for PyConline AU. The mentors are there to help you make the best of this opportunity. They're not there to sort of tear your idea apart and say, no, you shouldn't do it that way. They're there to take your spark of imagination, your creativity, and your expertise and help you craft it into the best submission you can make. So they're really there to support and help you.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I really like about the Python community and the Python conference community especially is that it very much values lifting people up. and helping them become better. And so even if it's that you want to speak, but you are having trouble formulating an idea, get in touch with us, tell us the kind of things you find interesting, tell us the kind of things that you do, and we can probably suggest a few ideas that you can then try and develop into proposals.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a really important point, that the community is there about lifting people up. So if you're a first-time presenter, absolutely, PyConline AU is a great opportunity to give your first talk, even if it's online.
Yeah, you don't even have to leave your house.
Now, Benno, I have done a number of conference presentations over the years. You've done a number of conference presentations over the years. And yet presenting virtually to a webcam and an audience of 0 is daunting. It's different. It's not something that I'm well rehearsed at. So we also want to support presenters over the lifetime of their talk at PyConline AU, not just their sort of text submission up front. Talk to me a little bit about mentorship over the next few months before the conference.
So we're also going to be offering mentorship and support for actually developing and delivering presentations that are selected. This is kind of analogous to the financial aid that we would have given in previous years to support things like plane flights, hotels, tickets, for people who need it. So obviously delivering a presentation effectively over a virtual thing from your house is quite different and requires equipment. It requires, a different way of presenting. You don't get the immediate audience feedback, but then you also don't have the bright lights shining in your face unless you've specifically gone out and bought them, Jack.
I've turned mine off for the stream.
But I mean, the things that I would suggest there are that I wouldn't get too stressed about your webcam. It's more important for us to see your slides and hear your voice than it is to see your face necessarily. In that, I mean, if you do have a decent webcam and you want to have your face in the part of the presentation, that's absolutely fine, but don't get too stressed if you can't. Having a decent microphone is probably the best investment you can make. But if you feel that you can't afford one or can't access one, then reach out to us. We will help you find one, whether it's begging, borrowing, stealing, or even us giving you some money towards getting you one if that's what it takes. Again, we want you to have the best experience that you can. And the last one is that if you're worried about your internet connectivity, we do have the ability to play in pre-recorded talks. We do have a part in the CFP that lets you indicate whether you don't mind how you present, whether you would prefer one way or the other, or whether you require one way or the other. We're also happy for you to do test recordings and send them through to us. Just do 30 seconds of you talking against in however way you wanted to present, and we can let you know. We have the AV team that's worked at all of the PyCons that I remember ever, and they are excellent at their jobs and will happily give you advice on how you can tweak your video settings, mic settings, equipment, whatever, in order to get the best result.
That's actually a great point, is that rehearsal component as well.
Yeah. And then in terms of content, again, we will have mentors who can help you review your content, review your slide designs, help you if you get stuck in the actual writing process. We can help all that.
Excellent. I want to second that in terms of rehearsals and practicing and testing things out. One of the benefits about doing an online presentation is that you have your presentation set up in front of you right now. You don't need to get to the conference center and test it the day before or the day of your talk. You can start to do these practice runs as early as tomorrow morning when you've woken up with this great new idea. And we would love to be a part of helping your talk be successful. And so those opportunities to test your microphone, test your webcam, figure out your internet stability. This is one of those processes that can be a little bit haphazard. There's no formal process for it, but we want you to be successful. And if you start thinking about that now, it's easier for us to give you that help.
Yeah, if you ask for help, you'll get it. If you don't ask for help, you don't get it.
Absolutely.
And so if you're struggling, if you're feeling stuck, please reach out. We want to, as we've said several times, we want you to have the best experience as a presenter as we can help you have. But we can't help if we don't know what you need help with.
Excellent. Now, we've been talking all about this CFP process, but at least on the stream, we haven't really emphasized where to go to learn more. And so I want to make sure that everybody here gets an opportunity to go to the 2020 pyconau.org.au. I should actually fix that that link coming up now. But go to /speak, and you'll find that you've got all the information for our call for proposals up there. So I'll show that again with the correct domain instead.
You don't. You need to take the -au out, Jack.
That's hyphenated in the stream deck.
I know the 2020.pycon-au.org.au.
It's not hyphenated. Just to emphasize to everyone, that is line wrapping in text as we discover these things live to air. So you head to pycon.org.au /speak. Now, when is CFP open until, Benno? Do I have to submit things by Friday? Can I pop them in next week? When's my deadline?
It is open until the 12th of July at midnight anywhere on Earth, which works out to, since PyCon AU was meant to be in Adelaide this year, we're working on Adelaide time. And so that's 9:30 p.m. Adelaide time on the 13th of July.
My advice to everyone is don't go submitting on the 12th of July. Submit it much earlier.
Submit early, submit often.
Submit early and submit often. That's all right, Benno.
I'm live on YouTube.
Submit early, submit often, and you can edit your submissions as well. And so if you're wondering, oh, is that the deadline? Is that the only moment for me to submit? No. You can go in there, you can make refinements and improvements. If you've been given feedback from a mentor, you can refine that right up until the close time, which is the 12th of July, anywhere on Earth. But don't do what I do and leave it to the last minute.
Yeah, I have never left it to the...
Benno, I seem to remember you and I sitting at a PyCon in previous years, submitting to the next conference on its last hours of a CFP. So we're both guilty of this. We may have done that. And follow our advice. Don't do what we do.
Yes. Do what we say, not what we do.
Now, Benno, we're probably coming up on time. We've been live now for about 15 minutes. Do you have any final remarks or recommendations for everyone before we wrap this up?
Oh, look, I would just say, if you have an idea, submit it. If we see ideas that we think could use work in the submission queue, then we will reach out and provide advice. If you're unsure, please reach out and ask to speak to a mentor. We will happily connect you with someone. And yeah, just please submit early, submit often.
Submit early, submit often, submit your best ideas. I'd also like to ask everyone watching this stream and this video to help us share the word. We would like to reach as many developers as possible, and we can't do that without your help. So wherever you're watching this video, whether it's on our news page, on YouTube, or if it's been shared elsewhere, help us get the word out to your friends, your colleagues, and your community, because without your help, we'll be limited in the number of submissions. And so we want to reach as many people as possible.
Yeah, we want everyone to have as much fun as possible at the conference, whether they're presenting or attending, and the best way we can do that is to have a nicely large body of ideas to pick from in terms of presentations.
Exactly. And look, for a CFP, for an event like a PyConline AU, it is always my job in the communication space to make Benno's job as difficult as possible to get as many submissions in as we can. So help us share the news. PyConline AU CFP is now open, and we are waiting for your submission for your amazing talk as soon as possible. I'm Developer Jack. My guest tonight has been Benno. Thank you for joining me, Benno, and we will see you at PyConline AU.